The Golden Tunnel. In a small village nestled deep within Africa lived a young man named Kofi. The village struggled with poverty and drought, making life harsh and challenging. Kofi, aged 25, lived with his mother and younger sister in a modest home. He worked tirelessly in the fields day in and day out, trying to earn enough to feed his family, but the meager returns barely met their basic needs. One night, while Kofi was tinkering in the cellar of his home, repairing some old tools, he noticed a small crack in one of the mud walls. Curiosity got the better of him, and he approached the crack to find it wasn't just a small gap, but a passage leading into what appeared to be a dark tunnel. Determined, Kofi decided to explore the tunnel the next day. The following morning, armed with his handheld lamp and some tools, Kofi ventured into the cellar. He began digging around the opening to widen it, and after hours of hard work, he managed to enter the tunnel. The walls were covered in dust and mold, and the air was stale, as if it hadn't been touched by fresh air in years. As Kofi cautiously walked further into the tunnel, he noticed something peculiar on the walls. There were streaks of shimmer here and there. He approached to inspect closely, and suddenly realized the walls were covered in veins of gold. He couldn't believe his eyes. A hidden gold mine lay beneath his own home. Quickly retreating outside, Kofi began to ponder his next steps. He decided to keep the discovery a secret at first, to study the situation and figure out the best way to capitalize on this find without arousing suspicion. Kofi started extracting small quantities of gold, selling them in nearby towns in discreet batches. Over time, Kofi's life and that of his family improved significantly. He used the initial profits to enhance their home and provide for their basic needs. Then, he began investing his money in small-scale projects within the village, such as building a well to provide clean water for the villagers and improving the infrastructure of schools and public facilities. Kofi became a central figure in his village, known for his integrity and generosity. He didn't just use his wealth to better his own life, but sought to improve the lives of others as well. He believed that true happiness came from helping others and making the world a better place for everyone. Things were going well, until one day a stranger visited the village. This man was a geological engineer, searching for mineral sources in the area. He heard about the significant improvements in the village and decided to investigate further. The engineer, named Thomas, was intrigued by the sudden prosperity of the village and the well-constructed facilities that seemed to have appeared almost overnight. Thomas approached Kofi, hoping to learn more about the source of his newfound wealth. Kofi, cautious and protective of his secret, told Thomas that he had simply been fortunate with some investments he had made. Unsatisfied with this vague explanation, Thomas decided to stay in the village for a few days to observe and gather more information. During his stay, Thomas noticed that Kofi often disappeared for hours at a time, always returning with a sense of satisfaction and occasionally with traces of dirt on his clothes. Suspecting that Kofi's wealth was tied to the land itself, Thomas decided to follow him discreetly one evening. To his surprise, he watched as Kofi entered the cellar of his home and vanished. Determined to uncover the truth, Thomas waited until Kofi emerged hours later before slipping into the cellar himself. Armed with a flashlight, he explored the cellar until he found the entrance to the tunnel. As he ventured deeper, he was astounded to find the glittering veins of gold embedded in the walls. The realization struck him that Kofi had discovered an ancient gold mine. Thomas was faced with a dilemma. He could expose Kofi's secret and claim a share of the riches, or confront Kofi directly and offer a partnership. Weighing his options, he decided on the latter. Approaching Kofi the next day, Thomas revealed what he had discovered. Kofi was initially furious and felt betrayed, but Thomas assured him that he had no intention of ruining his life. Instead, he proposed a partnership where they could both benefit while also ensuring the prosperity of the village. Reluctantly, Kofi agreed to the partnership. With Thomas's expertise as a geological engineer, they were able to extract the gold more efficiently and safely. They also devised a plan to reinvest a portion of the profits into sustainable development projects for the village, ensuring long-term growth and stability. As the months passed, the village transformed. New schools were built, healthcare facilities were established, and infrastructure was improved. The villagers, unaware of the true source of the wealth, believed it was due to Kofi's wise investments and generosity. Kofi and Thomas maintained their secret, carefully managing the gold extraction to avoid drawing attention from outside forces. Kofi's life had changed dramatically. He was no longer the poor young man struggling to make ends meet. Instead, he had become a respected and influential leader in his community. He used his wealth to empower others, funding education for the children of the village and providing microloans to small businesses. However, with great wealth came new challenges. Kofi had to navigate the complexities of wealth management, deal with jealousy and suspicion from some villagers, and ensure that the gold mine remained a secret. He found solace in his mother and sister, who were his pillars of support throughout this journey. Thomas, on the other hand, found a sense of purpose in his partnership with Kofi. He had always been driven by his work, but the impact they were making on the village gave him a deeper sense of fulfillment. He decided to settle in the village, becoming an integral part of the community. Years went by and the village flourished. The initial secrecy surrounding the gold mine became less of a burden as the village's economy diversified and became self-sustaining. Kofi's vision of a thriving community had come true. He often reflected on that fateful day when he discovered the small crack in the cellar wall. It had led him to an incredible journey of transformation, not just for himself but for everyone around him. The legend of the Golden Tunnel became a cherished story passed down through generations. The villagers knew that their prosperity was tied to the courage and integrity of Kofi, the young man who had discovered gold beneath his home and used it to change the fate of an entire community. Kofi's legacy lived on, a testament to the power of vision, hard work, and the unwavering belief in making a difference. And so, in the heart of Africa, a once struggling village became a beacon of hope and progress. All because one young man dared to explore a hidden tunnel and found gold, not just in the earth but in the hearts of his people.